Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a while since I've taught something here. I know we're back in church, but we still don't have a children's church service yet. Soon we will, and we'll welcome in Pastor Manny and Vicky. But for right now, we're just going to be keep doing videos, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. I'm Rachel, and I'm going to be teaching you guys a little something about God's faithfulness and how He protects us always. I'm going to be talking about Daniel in the lion's den. This story is found in Daniel chapter 6. I'm going to be reading from the NLT version of the Bible. But by popular demand, I'm actually bringing back my Q-tips. We will use them at some point during the story, although I am going to be reading from the Bible. But we will use them, I promise. So the story starts off with our man named Daniel, and he is competing for a position for the king. He's facing against two other men, and the story starts off with Daniel getting the position. It says, because of Daniel's great ability, the king made plans to place him over the entire empire. Then the other administrators, the other two that he was facing, they began searching for fault in Daniel, but they couldn't find anything. They couldn't find anything to criticize him for. He was faithful, he was always responsible, and he was completely trustworthy. Those are three great things. We all want to be those things. But they couldn't figure out anything wrong with Daniel. So they decided, this is what they said, our only chance of finding grounds for accusing Daniel, meaning the only thing that they can do to catch him, will be in connection to the rules of his religion. And now Daniel, if you guys didn't know, Daniel was a Christian. He believed in God, just like you and I do. So the administrators, the other guys, decided to go to the king. They said, long live King Darius. That's the king's name, by the way. We are all in agreement that the king should make a law. He should make a law that will be strictly enforced. Give orders that the next 30 days, if any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, and divine means of godly nature, I believe, except you, and so if anyone's to pray to any type of anything besides the king, they will be thrown in the den of lions. And now, your majesty, issue and sign this law so it cannot be changed. An official law that cannot be revoked. That means that no matter what happens, they cannot get rid of the law. So, King Darius signed the law. When Daniel learned of the law, he went home and he knelt down, just as usual, in his upstairs room with its windows open towards Jerusalem. He prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to his God. Same God that we believe in. Then the officials went together to Daniel's house and found him praying. And what did the law say? The law said there's no praying, but what did Daniel do? Daniel still prayed. They went to Daniel's house, and they saw him asking for God's help. So they went straight to the king, and they reminded him about the law that he had just signed. Did you not sign a law for the next 30 days that any person who prays to anyone except you will be thrown into the den of lions? And he did. He signed that law. And the king said, yes, that decision still stands. It's an official law that cannot be revoked. Then they told the king, that man Daniel, now keep in mind, Daniel was just chosen to be a really important person for the king. And now the king has to do something about the fact that Daniel was disobeying the law. One of the captives from Judea is ignoring you and your law. He still prays to his God 3 times a day. Hearing this, the king was deeply troubled. Like I said, he tried to think of a way to save Daniel because Daniel was really important to the king. He spent the rest of the day looking for a way to get Daniel out of this predicament. So, what do you think you would do if you were in Daniel's position? You were just told that you could not pray to God because of a law that the king made. Do you think you'd be like Daniel and continue praying? Or do you think you would stop and wait for the 30 days to be over? And then what do you think you would do if you were in the king's position? One of your most important people on your staff is disobeying a really important law, and you can't change the law because you signed the law and it cannot be revoked. So, in the evening, the men went together to the king. Oh, I already read that part. So let's see. Let's see where it leaves us. The king. All right. So the king gave orders for Daniel to be arrested because he had to, go on his word. And he was sent to be thrown in the den of lions. The king said to him, "May your God, whom you serve, faithfully rescue you. May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you." So the king is putting all of his trust in Daniel and saying, you know what? I can't go back on my word because I did sign this law, but I'm hoping that your God that you serve will save you. A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den. The king sealed the stone with his own royal seal and the seals of his nobles, so that no one could rescue Daniel. Then the king returned to his place and spent the night fasting. He refused his usual entertainment and couldn't sleep that whole night. Very early the next morning, the king got up and hurried. He hurried out to the lion's den. When he got there, he called out in anguish, "Daniel, servant of the living God, was your God, whom you serve so faithfully, able to rescue you from the lions?" Daniel answered, "Long live the king! My God sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths so that they would not hurt me, for I have been found innocent in his sight. I have not wronged you, your majesty." The king was overjoyed and ordered that Daniel should be lifted from the den. Not a scratch was found on him, for he had trusted in his God. And so, what does that tell you? That even though Daniel was in such a hard place, he was literally in the midst of it with the lions. I'm going to use my Q-tips now. This is the lion's den. Let's get these ones out of here. This is Daniel. In the lion's den. This is the lion's den. I don't even know if you can see. It's not even clear. But there's Daniel in the midst of all of these lions. I wish these were different colors so I could show you the difference. But there he is. He's mixed up with all of these lions. And what do you think would happen? Normally, I'm pretty sure that you'd probably get eaten up by these lions. I mean, any normal person who doesn't have God on their side would 100% not come out the next morning. But what did Daniel do? Because Daniel was so faithful to God and prayed to him still 3 times a day, even though the king passed a law and said not to. And then he kept that same faithfulness in the lion's den and continued to pray. And what did God do? God protected him and showed up right there in the lion's den, even though he was near death. Let's finish up with our story. Let's see what happens. Not a scratch was found on him because he had trusted in his God. The king then gave orders to arrest the men who had maliciously accused Daniel. Those were the guys that decided to try to get Daniel out of the position. He threw them in the lion's den, along with their wives and their children. The lions leapt on them and tore them apart before they could even hit the floor of the den. Oof, that's a scary sight. But Daniel was faithful in praying to God, and God was faithful to him. He protected him. And then the men that accused Daniel, the moment that they were in the lion's den, they were eaten before they could even hit the floor. Then King Darius sent this message to the people of every race and nation and language throughout the world. This is what he says, and listen closely because there's a lot of truth in these words. It says, "Peace and prosperity to you. I decree that everyone throughout my kingdom should tremble with fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and he will endure forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed, and his rule will never end. He rescues and saves his people. He performs miraculous signs and wonders in the heavens and on earth." Do you hear that? And on earth, which means God creates miraculous miracles and signs and wonders in heaven and on earth, just like he did with Daniel. He saved him from the lions. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. Then Daniel that's the end of his little speech. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. So the end of our story just tells that last little part says that he prospered. After this little fiasco of the lion's den, Daniel was able to continue serving the king, and everything worked out. And that just shows that God is faithful to us, and we should be faithful. We can learn from Daniel to be faithful to him, even though maybe we're struggling with reading our Bible, or struggling with praying every night with our parents. But if we stay faithful, God will always be faithful to us, because number one, he loves us and he wants to protect us and save us. So what can we learn? We can learn to be faithful to God, but we also learn that God will protect us no matter what. Just like he protected Daniel in the lion's den. He was surrounded by so many hard things and so many troubles, which the lions represent. But God was faithful to him in the midst of those hard times. So remember that if even though we're all going through the coronavirus and things are a little bit crazy, God is still faithful and he will still protect you even though it is rough right now. So we'll take that and we're going to make a craft. So what you're going to need, I'm going to use a paper plate. But if you don't have a paper plate, that is okay. You can get any piece of paper, construction paper. It can really be anything you want. We are going to draw a lion. So I have a green marker. Don't ask me why it's green. The lions are not green. They're also not white. But you know what I mean. So we're just going to draw a lion. So let's see. A lion has eyeballs. I have no idea what a lion. How do you draw a lion? These are its eyeballs. This is going to be interesting. So grab a marker and make sure you have the permission of your parents to use a marker of some sort, or a crayon. Anything really works. Oh, this looks more like a cat. Well, they are big cats. Oh no. Okay, wait. So these are scary lions because they were going to eat Daniel. So, oh boy. I'm going to add really big teeth. I'm going to put eyes and a nose, and then I'm going to put really big teeth because they were going to eat Daniel. But they didn't eat Daniel because God saved him. Because he is faithful. Okay, there's the top row. The teeth are coming out the lip. Whoops. Alright, just pretend. I'll fix it somehow. So if you guys have anything to write with, go ahead and grab that and just draw some teeth and some eyeballs. Let's add the eyeballs. That looks more like a human eyeball. Oops. So that's my lion, and I made really big teeth because it's scary, because they're trying to eat Daniel. So there you go. I'm going to put, and actually if you have a paper plate like this, these little ridges on the end can be like the lion's mane. I'm going to draw a little bit too. So if you want to add a mane to it, you can definitely add a mane to your lion. Let's see. I'm going to add it all the way around the outside. This lion is hungry. I don't know about your lion, but my lion wants some food. It's not going to eat Daniel, though. It's not going to eat me either. There we go. So there's my lion. And make sure, if you guys have a lion, and if I see you guys ever on a Sunday service, or when we get back on Wednesday nights, and when we're all together at some point, if you see me, I want to see your crafts from all the videos we've done. The lion, and Jonah and the whale, anything like that. I want to see what you guys are making. Or you can have your parents take a picture of it, post it on Facebook, and make sure to tell your parents what you learned today. And what is it that we learned? We learned about God's faithfulness. I hope that you said that. And we learned about Daniel and how God saved him from the lion's den, even though he was going to be eaten. But God is faithful and God will always protect us. So, if you guys want to go back and find that, it is, I read from the NLT, which is the New Living Translation, and it's found in Daniel 6. So if you guys want to read it with your parents at some point, you can do that later on. And I want to see your crafts. So if I see you, show me your crafts. Alright, everyone, have a good rest of your afternoon, and I hope to see you guys all back in church sometime soon, and then we can get everything back to normal and start meeting in person, and that will be great when that happens. So, have a good afternoon. Bye, guys.